Hi, my name is Dave Weiner, and I want to welcome you to Freedom Equity Group today, hoping that we not only excite you just a tiny bit, but when we're done, we actually change your life. Tonight, you're going to see a blueprint to becoming an elite life insurance producer. That really is me, speaking a couple of years ago in Minneapolis in front of several thousand insurance people. Just a little bit about myself and my bio. I've been doing this 35 years. I'm considered one of the pioneers in living benefits. I've been a consistent seven-figure insurance producer. The Blue Cross companies of Texas, New Mexico, and Illinois, in their annual report 16 years ago, wrote an entire paragraph about me and the impact that we had on their company. I was asked to be, because of that, an active participant in the first world conference that was held at the Disney Yacht Club in 2003 for what you call today living benefits. We called it critical illness back then. I was named a state chairman in 2003 for the National Business Advisory Board for the state of Missouri, and I'm currently a field CEO with Freedom Equity Group. FEG is one of the largest life insurance marketing groups in the United States, with over 25,000 agents. Last year, we were number 3 for the world's largest insurance company. We also led 3 other carriers simultaneously. Our CEO, Ron Petrinovich, and one of our clients were interviewed for the first ever documentary on TV last year. It was on Fox, on living benefits. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in just a second. And in fact, I'm going to kind of stage it. This was an individual that bought a cash value life contract known as Index Universal Life. Got so excited about Index Life that he committed to putting away $500 a week, $2,000 a month. And unfortunately, 30 days after getting issued his contract, he felt the need to pick up the phone, talk to the agent, and basically tried to cancel the contract. And let's face it, that's a big deal, because for those of you on the phone, I mean, with us live today, who wants to lose a $24,000 premium? I know I don't, and neither did that agent, and neither would you. So you asked the client, why do you want to cancel? And he just said, does it really matter? And I'm being a little dramatic, because we're going to ask you, if you work with us, to be dramatic about this. And the agent, you know, he told the agent, you know, you told me if I wanted to cancel in the first 30 days, I can. And long story short, and I'm going to go really quick over the subject, the agent asked why. I mean, I thought you liked this thing. And the doctor client, that was a doctor out of Massachusetts that had a $900,000 death benefit, and the only reason he's being interviewed is because he wants to cancel in the first 30 days. You see, reality TV, today's version, you know, think about that for a second. And the doctor goes, I love your program. It's amazing. And it doesn't matter how much I like your tax-free income, your asset management. The bottom line is I need to cancel the contract. And the agent immediately figured, well, it's just the money thing in his mind and his brain. So why don't we just, it's the amount of money. Do we need to reduce it? No, we need to cancel it. What changed? And then the doctor was hesitant, and then finally says, you know, I had to take a physical to get your contract last year. I have no clue how I passed that contract in that physical, but I did. I took my physical for my job that I take every year last week, and I flunked it big time. I was diagnosed with throat cancer. And I don't care who you are in the world, when someone tells you they've had a horrifying illness brought upon them, you know what? We deal with it. It's that big a deal. And you and I are no different. We would have said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And we then told the doctor, you don't need to cancel. We can file a claim. And the doctor says, file a claim? Are you insane? What part of me talking to you on the phone indicates I'm not dead yet? Funny, but not that funny. The agent goes, I don't need to cancel. I'm going to file you a claim even if you don't understand your program you bought. And 6 weeks later, as you see this right here, we took that $900,000 death benefit, our client's still alive at that moment, and guess what? We released $734,000 up front. Amazing. Just the doctor was blown away. Why? Because in the documentary, he admitted to having $100,000 out of pocket that year for healthcare costs. The number one concern in America is that issue. And for those of you who don't know statistics, 84% of the death claims in America came from heart attack, stroke, and cancer. Onset illnesses, in addition to heart attack, strokes, and cancer, like renal failure, kidney failure, organ transplant, paralysis, severe burns, comas, heart surgeries, horrific accidents on or off the job where you can't do 2 of your 6 daily functions. Well, guess what? Onset illnesses, onset claims, 52% of those claims are between 41 and 50 years of age. Average age of a claim was 43. Average age of a medical BK, that's called bankruptcy, was 44 years of age. And almost 2/3 of the bankruptcies in America came from medical incapacitation. Half the foreclosures in this country comes from medical incapacitation. It's the number one topic around the water cooler. It's the number one topic that was on TV today. Healthcare reform has to happen. Everybody's moaning and groaning about healthcare costs. Deductibles have skyrocketed. Out-of-pocket costs are insane. Premiums have doubled and tripled. It's time to give them some relief and give them that money back that they've spent. And you can do that by structuring living benefits. You can do contracts like term life insurance and have living benefits attached. You can lock in guaranteed premiums like 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. You can do premiums to age 100 with guaranteed return of premium in 25 years. Or you can do asset-based contracts like Index Universal Life that really makes an HSA look like, you know, kindergarten. This is like an HSA on steroids. And I can tell you right now, it's one of the greatest products for lead development I've ever seen to keep an agent busy. It's just a little bit of homework to really get to know it. And speaking of lead development, how is your prospecting going? Isn't the reason you're live with me right now is because you need someone to talk to? How's cold calling working out for you? Well, I know it doesn't work anymore. And it's not because of a do not call list. It really is because we're a smartphone world. We're not answering phones in our home. And because of caller ID, I don't know about you, but I don't pick up a phone. I mean, if I don't recognize the phone number, I don't pick it up. We don't do it. Telemarketing is weak. It doesn't work the way it used to. Direct mail doesn't work like it did 10, 15 years ago. Why? Specifically, you need to understand the why. We're an online world. We bank online. We pay our bills online. We don't go to the mailbox. And why does the internet not work strongly? Well, number one, if you're going to do keywords and optimization, it's never worked for me. If it worked for you, congratulations. But that's not the real big issue. The reason it's the real big issue is that in today's world of spamming and phishing, nobody opens emails from strangers, especially with attachments. And then why has the independent insurance agent dying on the vine? In the last decade, half of those that were considered independent agents have quit the business. Not because of age, but because in the millennial, they didn't know how to succeed. Well, it is a new day. You got to reverse the process. The client has to call you, not you call the client. Imagine you work from your home office and you take every day between 5 and 15 appointments per day. The same model that AIG Direct does. The same model SelectQuote does. Last year, AIG Direct did with AIG in life insurance premium just over $50 million in life insurance premium, and some would say our model is no different. Individual producers write a ton of business under our model. We're going to teach you how to explain the difference between an expense and an asset. And if you didn't know, an index universal life does absolutely compete and annihilate the 401k plan. We'll even teach you how to be compliant with the new law, how to do the exemption, how to disclose everything you're physically doing. That means disclosing your income, disclosing the fees, things we've always done. And yeah, we're well known on TV. When you're part of a huge documentary, our name is all over the place. And one last thing, just like the 1990s, we have in place with your contract an equity share program. If we ever are able to sell this agency, and that's the game plan, to build it and sell it one more time in our life, we're going to share it with the producers that got us there. Half of the proceeds will be shared with the qualified producers in our equity share program, and this time you don't have to buy stock. So let me introduce to you the miracle, the Customer Acquisition Center. This is how it works. We own the call center. They're out there dialing and smiling and following up on leads, and we use tons and tons of people everywhere in the world. We have modern technology. It makes them sound English. Yes, that's very expensive. And when we have someone that is actually interested to buy life insurance through modern technology, guess what? We transfer that person live to a licensed agent to assist them. That is you. That's the person we're looking for, our remote life agent. We will teach you the interview process. We'll teach you how to stage and be exciting and dramatic. We'll give you tools you've never seen in the insurance industry. And when it's all done and said, you'll have the activity you've never had before in your entire career. We do not sell leads. There are no leads today for sale. What we have is we split commissions with our producers. And the more successful you are, the more of the premium you keep. We call it a floating compensation. Now, our producers have a $300 a month administration fee. But if you're not maintaining a closing ratio, we take you off the administration fee because we cut you off. If you don't have at least a 10% conversion, we don't keep you. It's just that simple. So that administration fee is only there if you're productive. If you're not productive, you've got no cost because there will not be a relationship. The floating compensation resets every month based upon how much life insurance premium you issued the prior month. If you're under $20,000 of issued life insurance premium, you split the case 50-50. Now, this is not commission. This is on the system with the life company. You're splitting the premium 50-50. If you do $20,000, your split is 60-40. You hit $25,000 paid, your split for the next month is 65-35. 30,000, 70, 30, 35,000, 75, 25, 40,000, 80, 20, 45,000 paid premium, 85, 25. And yes, if you're doing 50,000 a month of life insurance premium, you got a 90-10 split. And if you've ever known anyone that worked at Select Quote or AIG Direct, you're going to know from talking to those agents that are making $600-700 a week straight salary that they were writing $400,000 to $600,000 a year in life premium because of the amount of activity that they had. I'm going to give you a simple compensation example. What is your conversion number? If we have you talk to 200 individuals in a month, how many would you sell a policy to? Based upon an average premium of $1,500, a regional vice president contract of 70%, and by the way, contracts go all the way up to 93%, and management floating bonuses that pay out a total of $110, we're showing you very simply that basic RVP contract. If your conversion ratio is just 5%, and by the way, unacceptable to stay here, but if you did, that would be 10 sales a month. That would be an income of $5,250 a month of income. It's $60 grand a year, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough for us, and it should not be good enough for you. 10% conversion ratio is 20 sales a month. That's a poor conversion ratio at SelectQuote. That's a poor conversion ratio at AIG Direct. And that is the bottom, a poor conversion ratio here. But if you did, you're making $14.7 a month. At 15%, that's 30 sales. You're sliding up that scale of paid premium. That's over $300,000 a year. That's exciting. At a 20% conversion ratio, you're doing 40 sales a month and you're making $37.8. Change of life stuff. I've got people that work for us that have a closing conversion ratio of over 40%. The sales interview we're going to teach you, number one, you need to lay out your credibility. You're going to represent the largest insurance company in the world that insures 98% of the Fortune 500 companies, 96% of the Fortune 1000. And you remember that magazine called Forbes, the Forbes 400 richest people in the United States? Well, guess what? We insure 40% of the Forbes 400. And you're going to represent us. We're going to give you great credibility. We're going to teach you stories about introducing living benefits and index life. And you're not going to guess. You're going to have access to an actual underwriting engine because you're going to actually be a field underwriter for us. This is virtual sales. This isn't guessing at a computer screen. You're going to interview that client, take 2 or 3 minutes, and you're going to see at the bottom of your screen their health issues change with each answer, their rating changing before your eyes. You're going to know what you can or cannot do. You're going to be able, knock on wood, to offer the hottest plans, but if they're unhealthy, you'll be able to do something you've never done before. Before they exit the phone, that you will be able to give them an offer, not a speculation. They will have an offer of life insurance coverage because we do guaranteed issue. And don't worry about what to say. We will teach you word for word, every word, how to close the interview. You follow our instructions, you follow a set presentation, and you got plenty of customers on our model. You're going to learn how to master the one-call close. So let's talk about the largest life company in the world and the hottest life plan in the United States. Have you sold index life? Do you know how it works? We have a proprietary index from one of the largest money managers in the world with 100% no cap, no spread, no losses, and language that's off the charts. Our money manager's proprietary index is something everybody knows. You've heard of Merrill Lynch, and they are our player. They're in play with us. You get a chance to do e-policy deliveries. That's no mailing. You've got artificial intelligence of a couple of our carriers up to $1 million and be able to even give preferred non-medical up to $1 million. You got the hottest guaranteed life product to age 121. I call it term to 100 or term to 121, guaranteed premiums. Not only does it have living benefits on the contract, return of premium, but it has a rider. It's not free. But at the age of 85, if your client had not died, got sick, became chronic, terminal, didn't ask for their money back, we'll still pay out the entire death benefit with no trigger at the age of 85. And what about for the business owners that we're constantly talking to? Because a lot of our leads are business owners. How about no surrender charge, liquid day one index universal life? That's hot. For our agent partners, we pay commissions on submission, giving you perfect cash flow. And we have contracts built in our agency system that pay out on every sale up to 110%. How many people are out there gambling with their assets? How many people are playing games with money? How many people watching this recorded video today would even dream that a life insurance contract that's fully commissionable could even possibly compete against the pure asset contract? What if I told you you would be able to deliver 300% more income even against a person getting 100% match on their job. That's worth something knowing, because there's $19 trillion out there. We teach you language. We teach you how to diffuse the wants of wanting to buy a term life insurance policy. You'll sell some term. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to, but you're going to teach them that it's an expense, not an asset. You're going to teach them all about assets. And when we get done teaching you our language, you are going to be stellar. Once you learn our words, it really is game over. You know, when I'm talking to a client, I have them grab a pen and paper, and I tell them in the nicest way. I had a person come to the table, wanted 100 grand of life insurance. He was 66 years of age. If he died or got sick, it was the new stuff. We were going to pay a claim. I could have guaranteed his premium for 20 years, about $227 a month. But if he didn't die or get sick, he spent $54K, $54,000. I don't know what you call an expense, but I call $54,000 gone an expense. I have him write on a piece of paper, asset. And I ask him to close his eyes for a second. And I says, you know, we're AIG. We're the largest insurance company in the world, but we wanted to have another money manager work with our contracts and our clients. Almost everyone we talk to knows who Merrill Lynch is. I want you to pretend you went to Merrill Lynch and you plopped down $100,000 of asset, and Merrill Lynch's money managers made you 6% next year. Not a real big figure, not a big deal. But the question I want to ask you is, would Merrill Lynch charge you for their services? That would be a yes. If Merrill Lynch lost, and Merrill Lynch has lost in the past, in 2015, their money managers on their proprietary index lost 1.41%. But if they lost, would they pass that loss on to you? Again, if they lost, you lose. But your contract isn't with Merrill. The very first thing I want you to write on your piece of paper is the word no, N-O, spread, S-P-R-E-A-D. If Merrill Lynch next year got you 6% and you had $100,000 in a contract with AIG Insurance Company, you would make $6,000. That's not too shabby. Why the entire $6,000? Because Merrill Lynch isn't charging you for their services. AIG paid them. And I don't know about you, but I like the word exclusive. You either walk into Merrill Lynch and get the index directly from Merrill Lynch, or the only insurance contract in the world you can get the Merrill Lynch index is with as being a client of AIG. We paid that big a fee so that Merrill Lynch would not license that index to any other insurance company in the world. You can only get that as a client of Merrill or here. How big a deal is that? Write on your piece of paper the word no losses. That's L-O-S-S-E-S. What does that mean? Merrill loses, your contract is with AIG. You incur no losses. No cap, N-O-C-A-P. There's a lot of insurance companies using outside indexes, and they'll say, yeah, you can make up to 12%, but we're going to keep the difference if it goes up 20. If Merrill does 2% next year, you make 2. If they do 15, you make 15. If they do 20, you make 20. If they lose, you incur 0 loss. Can you see why our clients forget about the insurance piece for a second? Can you see how the doctor got caught up in the investment, not the life insurance? And what about setting up the proper internal revenue code? How are you going to pay taxes on your contract? Is it going to be an annuity with AIG or a life insurance contract? You get to choose your internal revenue code. 401k is an internal revenue code. 457 is an internal revenue code. 403b is an internal revenue code. If you're in traditional internal revenue codes and you want to access your money, and that's the whole point of saving money so you can access it, if you're under 59.5, you incur a government penalty for accessing that money. If you want to access it, it's ordinary income. If it's ordinary income, you got to report on a tax return. I know that, and you as the insurance professional should know that. And if you die in one of those traditional contracts, the asset goes to your heirs and your beneficiaries. Well, guess what? They want to access that money too. And when they go to access that money, guess what? It's ordinary income to them. They got to pay tax. But if it's in a life insurance contract, it's Internal Revenue Code 7702. You're able to design a contract that allows them to access the money where it's not considered to be ordinary income. If it's not ordinary income, there's no government penalty. If it's not ordinary income, they're not reporting on a federal or state tax return as ordinary income and paying income tax. You've now created a contract income tax free, and by the way, it is life insurance, and if they die, it goes income tax free to your heirs. You're able to really do some great work, folks. We teach you the language to get to the finish line. We teach you the objections. We teach you to use tools like screen shares. You ready for this? We want you to record what you say and hear. We want your clients not only to see your screen, but you're going to record it for them, and you're going to give them a copy of what you presented. That means our language has to be stellar. No embellishments. We have to be game on and not make any mistakes. We teach them how we do no losses. We teach them how to get tax-free income. And we also get in there on the illustration, and we go line by line, year by year, column by column, and together we add up every penny the insurance company charges them, and we teach them. The cost charged on an insurance contract is always less than the charges charged by a money manager on a growing asset. And we will get them 300% more income at retirement. That's big stuff. Business owners, how many of you watching today even know what a business continuation plan is? It's the future. If you learn how to do a business continuation plan, you will get more clients tossed at you than you know what to do with. And not because of our lead system, but because business owners know business owners, and what we do makes everything out there obsolete and antiquated. 149 million policies in force in America. Only 86,000 of them as of last January took care of the business owner. Every time I have presented in front of bankers that do loans to companies, every time I've presented a business continuation plan that gave them money when they got sick, not dead, it is a process that we don't have enough time to go into today. We will teach you, but it is truly some of the greatest teachings we've ever done, what we do in the business owner market, and we will teach you how to do that. When you use the Index Universal Life Contract that has no surrender charge, it looks just like this. Here's a guy that needed $1,350,000 in death benefit. And yes, we're charging every year the cost of insurance. But at the end of 3 years, he's got $231,000 in the contract. He only put $230,000 in. To the naked eye, it looks like he didn't pay anything for this insurance. He did, but that's the beauty of having a no surrender charge product. So in closing, we have a lot of great things going on. How do you get started if you decide to work with us? So number one, you need to schedule a one-on-one interview. That's where we ask you questions and you get to ask us questions. We get to spend a solid half hour together. If you get through the interview and we extend an offer to join us, you do have a one-time setup charge to set up your back office to do all these great things, and that cost is $125. We need our technology for this project, so you have to have it. You got to be able to contract with our carriers. I am not interested in bringing somebody on who can't move their carriers. We don't sell leads. We're looking for agent partners to keep them busy doing 5 to 15 customers a day. So you must be able to contract. We know sometimes you might have a contract stuck, and on a case-by-case basis, depending how we like or not like you in the interview, we have made exceptions. But it's very rare. Again, we have no desire to train our competition. You need to learn our sales process. You need to commit to a minimum of 30 new customers a week from our CAC. We prefer you to do a minimum of 50 a week, but we know sometimes nobody has that much time in a week, so give us our 40 hours and we're content, but at least take 30 customers a week. Attend a daily sales meeting every day. And you're probably thinking, well, how do you have a daily sales meeting? Well, it's interactive. It's a webinar, but it's not your typical webinar like this one where you're just watching me talk. It's where you got your headset on and you interact with your peers and talk about the day before. You're transparent. You put up the numbers on the production board. You talk about exactly what you did or didn't do. It's what we do, folks. We talk about where we're going. You have an optional boot camp. Everybody's gone to school before. Have you ever gone to school where you've made a profit going to school? Well, there is an optional boot camp. You do not have to do it, but if someone feels they need hands-on training, we have 2 days of classroom instruction the third Monday of each month. Those 2 days is Monday and Tuesday. Learn a lesson, execute a lesson. We put you in cubicle and we drill till you got everything done. And then Wednesday and Thursday, you take calls at the school. You're making money at the school, and then you graduate on Friday. Again, like I said, very optional boot camp. We want you to own an Index Universal Life Plan that's bought through this agency. It's been the agency practice for a long time to have that contract bought from your recruiter. There are 2 mandatory meetings every year. The 2 mandatory meetings are very simple: the Leadership Summit and the National Convention. We just had National Convention at the end of June of 2017. The next mandatory meeting won't hit to January, and it will both meetings are in Vegas each year. You have to go. To get into the Equity Share program, it's in any rolling 12 months. Once you hit $100,000 of income, you're in. Now, over the last couple of minutes, I've shown you a pathway to everything you've got to learn, do, change your life. We'll have you writing from $16,000 to $60,000 a month in life premium every month. The only decision you have to make is, are you willing to change your life? You need to contact the person that got you on this meeting.